Good morning, everyone. I'm Joe Cadu and wanted to bring you guys the HMB USA Marshal update for fall 2020. In this video, I'll introduce the HMB Marshal team and talk about some of the challenges we're working to solve at a high level and give you a high-level overview of the USA HMB Marshal certification program. I was asked a curious question recently. Why would someone want to become a marshal? Yeah, it's important, but why? What are the benefits of becoming a marshal? This is a little bit of a difficult question, but there are many aspects to consider. I can only speak from my experience and from my opinion on this. First, as a marshal, you're able to help make the tournament or event happen. There is no event without marshals, and we are there to ensure safety and fair play. Next, you get to work with your friends, your colleagues, and your family who may be fighting. There are many fathers and sons, spouses and partners where one person is marshaling and the other person is fighting. This is not just in the US I'm talking about globally. So this is something to also consider. If you are not fighting currently and you want to be involved, this is a way to do it. Another aspect and reason I've seen becoming a marshal is becoming a better fighter. By understanding the rules and understanding it from both sides of the arena, you do understand how the execution of a fight happens better and can use the rules more effectively with the experience of being on the martial side of the fence. Many of the top European fighters do a shift or two as a marshal, for example. This is on the men's side as well as on the women's side. This is a great way to polish your understanding of the rules. As a marshal, when you become an HMB IA certified marshal, which is the international certification, there's the ability to become a paid professional. Since marshals are required for events at the Behord League, for example, they are paid for their time. Some events can even assist with travel and expenses as well. That's common both in the European market as well as in the US market for some of the higher level events. So that's something to consider. And really the right reason to become a marshal is to support the fighting community and be a part of the action. There really is no better place to be than on the field with two teams competing for victory. The energy is electric, and you have a marshal, have a front row seat and a hand in the whole event. So it's a great place to be. Here's our current USA team. Start with myself. I've been marshaling since 2013 as part of the HMB and head marshal of the US here since 2015. I've attended every Battle of the Nations since 2015, with the exception of 2014, or since 2013. Established the HMB Marshal certification program last year, and we have certified marshals all over the US currently. Next is Larry. Larry's been marshaling since 2013. Him and I have worked together on more events than anyone else who's active today. And he's a very good marshal here as part of the HMB USA team. Jason has been involved in the sport in various activities since 2013, and he has started marshaling in 2016 with assistance and guidance from one of our top head marshals, Vitaly from Ukraine. Christine started marshaling in 2013, and she also participated last year at the Autumn Assault event in Detroit, where her and I worked together. And she also was a duels marshal at Carolina Carnage last year. Mark Jackson's been fighting in HMB since 2013, and at about the same time, he started his stint doing line marshaling as well. I have since pulled him more into the marshaling aspect. He does fighting still, but he does his share of marshaling, and he is quite an experienced marshal, having worked with many of the international HMB IA marshals I mentioned earlier. So what are we doing here? What's our objective? We're establishing the best team of marshals across the US and North America for supporting and growing the sport. So one thing that's unique to HMB is that we do work very much as an international community. So I travel frequently to Mexico, would love to travel to Canada, have been to Europe many times, and will continue to do so. And that's part of the fun of this part of the sport. Recent accomplishments, May 2019, attended Battle of Nations in Serbia. September 2019, we had a Marshal Summit and training event. This was a Marshal Summit as well as a fighter training event here in San Diego. September 2019, I attended a New York City singles event as a Marshal. October 2019, marshaled the HMB Challenger event in Detroit. That's where I was as a Night Marshal. November 2019, the Caballeros Tournament in Mexico. This is a HMB Masters level event where I worked as a Field Marshal there. March 2020, we had plans for an Arnold Classic, and unfortunately that was canceled due to COVID. And as you know, most of the items here are 2019, as 2020 has had a shutdown due to COVID currently. So what are some of the challenges and problems that we need to solve? Number one, we need to grow. So we have a fine core team. However, we are limited. We are also scattered to the four winds. We're all over the US literally. So this is something that we need to do, is work with the clubs and the teams, the groups, on recruiting more dedicated marshals. And again, this is not a broken fighter who wants to spend a couple turns while they're healing as a marshal. People who are dedicated to it, who really want to learn the rules and really want to execute on the rules. That's what we're looking for. Support. As certified marshals are required at all higher level events, this allows us to ensure that we have the marshals necessary in-house to cover larger scale events. So for example, if we're going to a master's level event, we need to have a certain number of HMB certified marshals in attendance. Currently, we only have one HMB IA active certified marshal, and that's myself. So we need to grow that. Train. In continuing the training process we've already established, I'm working diligently on filling those gaps. So I'm working on building more video training materials. This is an example of the beginning of that, but also working on building some static images and some documentation. We have a Facebook group already established, and we're looking to continue the conversation there for anyone who's interested. So what is the process for marshal training? First, encourage new candidates. We need to bring new people to the table. Second, training. Well, we have a variety of training methods and techniques available. First off is the Facebook group that I mentioned. We also have substantial documentation from HMBIA in the form of PDF files. There's an Android application that's been provided by HMBIA, which has tests and sample tests and documentation there. And then practice. We can review game reels, we can practice event marshaling, etc. But the other thing that's most important is actual execution. Having events where we can rotate people in, and under the tutelage of certified marshals or experienced marshals, they can get better training of actually doing the activity in the field. So that's what we're considering our training program currently. And then the certification is broken into 3 steps. First is a written examination, followed by a verbal exam, and then a practical evaluation. The practical evaluation is a certified marshal, myself currently, who would then proctor the exam, watch the candidate do their activities on the field, and run a fight. So that's what we're looking to see, people actually in action, and then that will be the last step in the certification. So what's our plan going forward? Well, we started this training program only in 2019 officially. We have a new HMB USA board as of 2020. So we're looking forward to partnering with them and various clubs who use the HMB rule set and working to grow the martial community to support that. So our job is really safety and support. So that's what we're here for, and to make sure that everyone understands the rules. One little side note is that it is definitely imperative that all team captains understand the rules, so we can help on the synthesis of that as well. So thank you for your time. This is the second in the series, and I'll be continuing this with more drill down information as we get into the specifics of the rules and how to be a marshal and how to execute a tournament. Thanks for your time.